All right, here we go. What's up,
Wait,
everyone?
was that your slate? Was that your cut? Wait, hold
Yeah, that's the
cut. Wait. This one's gonna be different, people. I promise
Oh, God.
you. Okay,
all right, here we go. Welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. We are going to dive into acting insights, meet industry pros, and master the business. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We're keeping you behind the scenes and ahead of the game. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Get Scene Unscripted. It is about to be a show, and I just quickly want to give a shout out to those of you that are leaving us reviews and letting us know how the show is impacting you. So thank you so much. And I want to give a shout out to Lauren E. Washington. Thank you so much. She says, hits the mark always. Get Scene never disappoints. I always feel like I learn something new with every one of these episodes. Awesome to have so much knowledge in one place. Thank you, Lauren. Glad you are enjoying. And with that, everyone, we got Casting Director George Pierre in the house. George, what's up?
Let's just put a disclaimer out there. Lauren, you are not going to learn anything on this particular one right here. Okay?
Oh, Lord.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
Jesse, what's up, brother?
George, it's good to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you, man.
I love your story so much. And those of you that don't know, I mean, George and I mean, we've been rocking together now. I think we're over 10 years.
Yeah, it's been,
I think it's over 10 years. And
absolutely.
So I have seen your growth. I have seen you grow into such a fantastic, one of the top casting directors here in the Southeast. But even before that, your journey starts getting fired from Home Depot.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is I still shop there intentionally just so they could see that.
You love Home Depot.
I do. I'm like a homebody. Like if I wasn't doing casting, I'd probably be doing it yourself. DIY.
DIY.
Yeah,
DIY.
Yeah, not DIY because that's driving while that's DWI. Okay, never mind. But yeah, we're not even gonna talk about it, even though it's past the holidays and all that good stuff. So yeah, I got fired from Home Depot. It was the greatest thing that happened to me though. It's funny because the general manager who became the general manager, his name is Bob Nardelli. Thank you, Bob, by the way. I never officially thanked you. He actually wanted to do a downsize. So the people who were making, probably been there for a while and making a little bit too much money, which wasn't a lot because it was like $35,000 a year, which wasn't really, can you imagine that? Lord Jesus. And so he wanted to get rid of people. And that's what they did. They got rid of people. And so I went back to school, the Art Institute of Atlanta. And every morning I would drive to, where was it? It was right off of 400, exit 5, right? But the crazy thing is,
that's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. From me living from where I was first living in that 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment, would have to drive out there. But then Kiara was so young, my daughter Kiara, shout out to you, Kiki, I love you. And I had to drive out there, and it was so expensive because the car that we had was a gas guzzler. I mean, literally, it would just suck the hell out of the gas. You put $1 in, and back then, you have a credit card or a debit card. All you have to have is $1 in your on your credit card. Me and Teresa, no, trust me, Teresa, my wife, love you. And so all you had to do was put $1, have $1 on your credit card, and swipe it, and you can get gas. And so we knew we were going to get chargebacks and, penalty fees and all that, but we needed gas. So, and the thing is, I couldn't always take Kiara with me when I was going to Rainforest. And so, crazy thing is, I would drop her off at this daycare. It was $5 an hour. I didn't have $5 an hour. So the struggle became very real. But to backtrack, got fired from Home Depot, went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, right? And there is where one of my professors was like, hey, these guys, they call them the dynamic duo from Rainforest Films. Mind you, I'm such a novice at this point, didn't really know anything about the film industry. This was my script writing class. And she gave us the info for Women in Films Television of Atlanta, WIFTA for short. Say that fast.
WIFTA.
And so I went. More money I had to pay, because if you're a member, it's $5. If you're not, you got to pay $10. Best $10 I ever paid in my life, man. Actually, it was Teresa's $10 because I wasn't working. I had to steal it from her purse.
All right, Teresa.
And so I paid the $10. I went, and the Rainforest dynamic duo, which is Will Packer and Rob Hardy, they weren't there. They didn't show up. But Diane Ashford was there, and she was talking about the movie that they just shot, which was The Gospel. And so there was a lady sitting right next to me. I can't remember her name, but I said, "Hey, you think they're looking for interns? You think I should raise my hand?" She said, "Yeah, what do you have to lose?" So I raised my hand, and I said, "Excuse me, are you looking for any interns?" I'll never forget what Diane said. She said, "You don't see all these boxes right here? Of course we're looking for interns." After that, she gives me her card, right?
Wait, did you pick up the boxes?
No. I wasn't. She didn't bring me on as an intern.
Oh,
I'm
all right.
not stupid now. Come on now. No, I would have picked them up if she asked me. I would have hauled them all to her car so fast. Anything else, man? What else you need?
What else? You need me to drive this?
Well, listen, my license is suspended, but look, hell, what the hell? No, I'm kidding. It wasn't suspended. But she gave me her business card, right? And so, you don't want to be too persistent, but you want to be persistent enough where they realize you're being serious and not being a pain. So I would call. It would always go to voicemail. I would call. It would always go to voicemail. And so one day I was like, you know what? Man, bump all this. I'm going to go to their office. So I looked at the address. It was right there by Georgia State. I drive up. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. I'm about to go to their office. I'm about to make an impression. Let them know I'm interested. Pull up, park my car, get out, walk to the building. And, you're not paying attention. You're just like, okay, maybe the office is in the back. It was a post office or a UPS store. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe their office is in the back. Who knows?
It was their P.O. box. Yeah,
I get in there. Yeah, I do it. It gets better. Yeah. But you know what? I'm not even ashamed. I took the initiative. I went to their P.O. box, right?
Over a decade ago, Get Seen was founded with the intention of connecting actors with industry pros. And we first did it with just in-studio classes, and since we've expanded to different online classes. Today, we offer both, and I want to give you the chance to try one out by using the promo code PODCAST15 to save $15 on any one of those classes. Our specialty in-person classes are Get Seen 360, where in one day, you get to hang out with an industry pro and your classmates and go over a self-tape, the callback, and the cold read scenario. And then it ends with a Q&A. And then on the online, we created a class called The Perfect Submission, where we go over your headshot, self-tape, and demo reel or clip to help you create the perfect submission. So the only thing is it's only going to be available to the first 25 people to use the promo code. So again, the promo code is podcast15. You could use it for any of the classes on the website right now at getseenstudios.com. It can be in person or online, whichever is going to be best for your journey. So again, use the promo code podcast15. The first 25 people to use it are going to get the benefit. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Hold on, I have a similar story.
Oh my God.
I swear. Well, when I had a callback for American Reunion, I was living in Florida, and my mom was like, "I'll drive with you to your callback." So we had to drive up to Atlanta, and my mom's like, "You got to get on the Vampire Diaries. Who's the casting director of Vampire Diaries?" We look it up. It was the P.O. box. You better believe we showed up to that UPS thinking I was just gonna knock on the door and be like, "Put my son in Vampire Diaries."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it paid off. Because for me, it was like I showed up. I went in the store. I actually went in. I said, "Hey, yeah, I'm looking for Cemetery," because Diane's company name is Cemetery Entertainment. I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for Cemetery Entertainment." The guy looks at me like, "Yeah, no." I said, "Well, sir, is their office maybe in the back or something like that?" He says, "No, sir, this is a post office, this is UPS." I still wasn't deflated, though. I still had the card. Mind you, I had kept calling and nobody would pick up. It would go straight to voicemail. So I said, okay. I get outside, take my phone out, flip the phone open, flip phones. Just so for the people who know flip phones.
Hey, but you were cool back then.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Flipped it, dialed the number, let it ring. Somebody picked up.
How many times did you have to call?
Oh my God. Dude, this probably was like my 18th, 19th time.
Wow.
I kept calling. And my thought pattern was like, I have nothing to lose but everything to gain. So why not? And so I say to the person on the other end, I say, hey, yeah, I'm at your office building, and it seems to be a post office or a UPS store. When I tell you for 5 minutes straight, all you heard was laughter on the other end of on the other line. And when they stopped laughing, they were like, no, we're located in Marietta. So I said, oh, okay. So they give me the address to Marietta. And a day to come in and interview or whatever. And so they gave me the internship or whatever. And so I was the guy reading the scripts. I was the guy who was making comments. First time, doing stuff like this. And so one day, Will comes in, and they were making plans to promote the movie that they just shot, which was called The Gospel. And they were like, hey, we're going to need to hire some people to start calling the churches. Thank God I was their intern. They hired me $400 a week to start calling churches. When I tell you, I was so happy I was making $400 a week. And I started calling the churches. But I think what the producers appreciated, and Diane, everybody, was as we're calling the churches, and I'm telling them, hey, go to Fandango, pre-purchase your ticket. But what we didn't realize is when you purchase a ticket via Fandango, it doesn't credit it to any particular movie. When you get to the theater box office, you have to tell them, hey, this is the movie that I'm going to see. Then they'll credit it to that movie. And I told them this, and they were like, wow, we didn't know. So we started telling the church people, hey, when you go, please make sure that you say it's the gospel and it's stamped that's the gospel that I'm going to see. And Will later on came back. He said, hey, man, cool. What do you want to do in my next movie?
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to look at every camera. And I said, oh, I'll be your PA. I didn't know what a PA was. I didn't know what a PA was. I probably was better off being an intern, right? And so the crazy thing is they hired me.
So you said, I'll be your PA. He was like, all right.
He said, okay. So he put me in touch with some people. This is where I met Derek Deuce, and this is where I met Angie Bones. And when I tell you it was a crash course in learning what to do, so I'm on set. They said rolling. They say cut. Back to one, reset. I didn't say any of that. I didn't know I was supposed to as a PA until somebody said, hey man, you need to repeat it. You need to say it loud. Oh, but I was nervous. I felt funny saying that, like rolling. Well, who cares? But then I finally realized. Then they put me with the extras, where I was the guy who had to get them dressed quickly, put them through hair and makeup. And for some reason, I did it right. It worked out. But I would hustle. I would hustle so hard to where I wanted them to bring me back. And then as time went on, they started bringing me in for other projects. Then our son Jalen was born, and then that was our birth control. We just decided to never have kids after that again. That was just random, but I love you, Jalen. And then from there, it's just doors opened up, because people think like it's an easy journey. Like you just wake up in the morning, you're like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, this is what you're gonna do, but you have to work hard towards it in order to get it, and especially to keep it, because there's other people who are vying for the same thing. So the crazy thing is that we started working. Deuce loved the work that we did, so he introduced me to Angie Bones, who was working at Tyler Perry, where I met Roger Bob and Mr. Reuben Cannon. And so they were like, Deuce was like, yeah, I got this guy. He's a PA. He's a little rough around the edges, but he's cool. Am I rough around the edges? No.
A little.
Okay, a smidge. But I'm refined now. And so he was like, yeah. And so they called me in to start working on Tyler Perry movies or whatever. And I think the first Tyler Perry movie I did was the one with China McClain, Daddy's Little Girl, right? So we're there, we're working hard, we're busting our ass or whatever. And the crazy thing is that I don't want to be a PA. I didn't want to be a PA. Obviously, you got to get your foot in the door. So I felt like PAs shouldn't have to dress up or anything like that. So I was just wearing whatever. I had my do-rag on, wife beater or whatever, but it wasn't the protocol. over there and stuff. You know what I mean? So that was not a good look for me. Till one day, Deuce came up to me. He said, "Hey, man, yeah, you need to change your outfits. Yeah, producers aren't happy with the way you're dressed." I said, "Huh?" I said, "I'm a PA. Who cares?" Or whatever, right? This was my response. Rather than, "Okay, Deuce, I will do better and dress better," or whatever, right? So what do? I start wearing a suit. When I tell you, everybody fell out. I went to set with a suit on. I started wearing ties. And they were loving it.
You were like, I'm gonna take this note.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. Meanwhile, I'm being an ass. I don't really. Okay, y'all want to make fun of me? Say I don't dress right? Well, I'm gonna start wearing ties and cardigans and all that good stuff. And I did, and they were loving it. Oh my God, George, he looks nice. He just dresses nicely. Like, so what happened before? Get seen, people. You got to promote it. Put it right there so they can see. And so as time went on, we kept doing more and more of the Tyler Perry shows early on in our career. And I went to Angie one day. I said, "You know what? I don't want a PA anymore. It's not for me. It's just like, I don't like the way people, for me, you talk to me a certain way, I might get agitated." Can you believe that, Teresa? And so for me, it's like, I know not saying, hey, you could be a PA, not saying that's a bad thing to do. I'm not knocking it, but it just wasn't for me. I know I wanted something else.
You wanted something more.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, I was like, I can't do it anymore. And she looked at me, and you know what she did? She said, "You should probably consider doing extras casting." I said, "Okay." So she started giving me what are called skins, which is the name and numbers and emails of all the extras that are in town. And so I created my own extras casting company, right? And I quickly learned that extras don't like going to set either. It's like, they don't like going to set. I was like, wow, I called you. Your call time was 8. It's like, what are you doing? Are you come But for the people who did show up, it was gratifying. It was, and I always fought hard for people because I felt like everybody should be treated fairly. Just because you have your first teamers doesn't mean the extras should be treated any less. Or if you have your crew, the extras should be treated any less. They should be treated the same way everybody else is being treated. So at the end of the day, I was very big on that. And then I quickly realized I didn't like extras casting either. I said, I'll never forget one day we was at Tyler Perry Studios, and this is when they were in Greenbrier. And it was like, oh yeah, we need 500 extras right now for women of color, whatever it was. It was a movie that he was shooting. And we got on the phone and we started calling people, and we hustled, and we got the people in. But I was exhausted.
500?
I was exhausted.
Jeez.
But everybody got on phones. Like, it wasn't just my staff and me. It was like everybody got on the horn. And so we were calling friends, brothers, mothers, sisters, lovers, cousins, Chewbacca, whatever, whoever wanted to be on the set. And we made it happen. And for me, that was gratifying. But as time went on, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And so I got a phone call one day, and they were like, hey, we got this project coming in, somebody threw us your name or whatever. We're looking for PAs. I said, yeah, no, thank you. I said, but do you have anything in casting, right? And the lady was like, no, but we will need a driver for one of our cast members, right? And so I said, okay, cool. Now, I do not encourage anybody to do this, what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, God.
But I did it. But I prayed before I did it. You know what I mean? I said,
well, then that makes it okay.
Yeah. Well, you can't pray and say, I'm going to go kill somebody and then go kill
That's
somebody.
true. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Because I'm not visiting you. And so I prayed on it. I said, Lord, I just need to feed my family. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm not going out there to hang out or just, drink and have fun. I'm working or whatever. And so I don't know why, but usually they ask you for your information, your license and whatever. So I filled the paperwork out and I just gave it to them. They never asked for a copy of my license or anything like that. Because my license was suspended. Yeah, it was suspended.
Whoa.
It was very, very suspended. And so I would take the train to this actor's hotel every morning and then drive up to Macon, Georgia, where he was shooting. And and then driving back to his hotel, park the car, hop back on the train. So you can imagine if we had a late shoot, trains in Georgia stop at a certain hour. So I would probably have to call my wife to pick me up. You know what I mean? But I think it was worth it because I build a relationship with that individual. And the crazy thing is that his name is I forgot his name. Shit. He played on The Wire. Seth Gilliam.
I was about to say it's about to come to you.
Yeah. You know how I get. He played on The Wire. His name is Seth Gilliam, and we built an awesome relationship behind that. But to backtrack on how I would probably have to call my wife to come pick me up, I'll never forget, Deuce and Angie hired me on a show they were doing, and I didn't know the train stopped running. And this is where I first learned. So I had to call my wife.
Because in New York, they don't stop running.
They don't stop running in New York. They keep going. And so she's pregnant with our son, Jalen, who hasn't come in yet to say, what's up, it's me. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sitting outside, and I'm like waiting on her and she's super duper pregnant, waiting on her to come scoop me up. And so the next time that it happened again, I just walked home. It was a long walk. I must have walked like 10 miles.
Damn.
To get home. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, sacrifices. You got to do what you got to do, you know? And for me, it was just like, did I want to walk? No, hell no, I didn't want to walk. That shit was tiring.
How do you get to the point, though, because there's, like you just said, like, I didn't want to walk. How do you distinguish I just got to do this, I just got to, you want to call it man up or what, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like, just, I got to do what I got to do, as opposed to maybe it's not working out?
You know, I'm glad you asked that, because for me, it's like, I don't believe in giving up. That's not a part of my vocabulary. You know, I'm the type of individual, if I can't get this on correct, I'm going to spend the whole day making sure that I put it on correctly. That's just me. So I have that spirit of willpower. I have that spirit of go get it and just never give up. You know, like reading books like The Alchemist, where Santiago was on his journey trying to find out, and it was right there in front of you. You just have to open that door. A lot of people, and they don't see this. They're like, well, I didn't get it today, but you only tried today. You didn't try yesterday. You didn't try tomorrow or later on today. I tried once and it didn't work out, so I'm giving up. No, and plus my motivation was my kids, my wife. Like, I want them to look at me and be like, you know what? Okay, daddy, my husband, he can be annoying sometimes, but the one thing they can't say is that I'm lazy and I won't push and have that drive and just go and that tenacity and just, I don't believe in people telling me no. You can say it. It's perfectly fine. You're entitled to say no all the time. Like, but I don't have to adhere to it.
When you're feeling, you know, like I'm thinking about when you were calling, right, to try to get the intern job, you know, calling 16, 17, 18, 19 times, like, I don't know, by 11, you got to be like, I don't know if they're picking up. Like, how do you reignite that fire to be like, I'm going to keep going, I'm not going to give up?
Well, for me, it was like, I want more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have what you have, but you want more. You know, you want to be able to not rely on people. You know, you want to be able to be like, hey, you know what? I accomplished this. Self-accomplishment is a beautiful thing. When you look back and you're like, hey, no one can ever take this away. They probably won't hire me again, but this is forever mine. You know, like with what Home Depot did, that's fine. You know, it actually worked out for the benefit of us. And so at the end of the day, them laying me off actually created a whole different ball game.
Whole new trajectory for your life.
Absolutely, where I met great people, forged awesome relationships. Like, I'm a very happy person. I mean, there are times where obviously we're all human. You're like, ugh, you know, where's it go? Like, but overall, it's like, it's worth it. To see, like, okay, if you want to go on vacation, or if you want to just be like, you know what, today I want to do this. I want to be able to do that. I want to set aside this for my kids for the future. You know, or my grandkids. For me, I've always said this, it's about generational wealth. Mm-hmm. It's not about the now. It's about what are you doing in this life that people later on could be like, Okay. Where your family could be like, okay. Now, are you going to get people who are absolutely rooting for you? Yep. Now you're going to get people who are really hate you and not rooting for you and want to see you fail? Absolutely. But I use both of them as a tool to be like, just keep pushing. Keep doing. Like, we was just on strike, you know, and it was probably the worst thing on God's green earth. But what are we going to do? Are we going to just sit down and die and just fade away? Or are we going to utilize this time to better ourselves? And every day is not going to be perfect. I'm not sitting here talking about every day is going to be peaches and cream. It's going to be like the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, there are days where you're going to be like, dude, well, what's the purpose? Like, why? And that might be the day where you realize what the purpose is.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, you talked about like wanting more. What about the balance of wanting more, but then also making sure that you're staying in gratitude?
I'm always I like to think I'm always grateful for every blessing that has happened thus far and that's going to happen in the future. I think for me is like I constantly still tell the people who even 20 years later started me in the industry and took a chance on me. I tell them thank you.
Yeah.
I'll send them a text, thank you. I'll see them, I'll say thank you. I'll give them a hug, you know? And it's crazy because we were at a rap party and it was Will Packer's, one of his shows. And he says to me, he said, gee, how many does this make for us? And I was proud to say, I don't remember. I don't know, I have to go look. And we kind of looked, was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta look at it from a guy who came, you know, from nowhere, just popped up, and they took a chance on him, which is why I am the way that I am. I love being able to give somebody an opportunity, but I don't believe people should take advantage of that opportunity, you know? Because a lot of people nowadays are just like,
They want the handout.
they want the handout. Like, what good? Like, I got a phone call the other day, right? And say, I knew it wasn't anybody that I knew, so I picked up, right? And the lady just started talking, hi, is this Pierre Casting? Kept talking, yeah, you know, I'm just, blah, 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 and just kept ranting. I said, ma'am, what is your name? Like, introduce yourself. Like, you're doing all this talking, but you're not introduced. Like, how do you want to make an impression if you just, and then, you know, I spoke to her for a little bit. But what got me was, she was like, yeah, you know, I represent myself, you know. And I said, well, you should try to get an agent. Are you taking acting classes? No, I'm pretty self-contained where I do everything myself. I said, it doesn't work that way, you know? And I had to tell her the parable with like the guy who was at sea where his little boat crashed or whatever. And he was like, I'm gonna pray to God and God is gonna send somebody to save me. So a boat comes by and tries to rescue him. He's like, no, I'm waiting on God, I'm waiting on God. Then another boat comes by, no, I'm waiting on God. And the third boat comes by. Needless to say, he drowned, goes to heaven. He said, God, what happened, man? I was waiting on you to look out for me. God said, dude, I sent you 3 boats, man. What more do you want?
Yeah.
And so I say to her, she said, you know, I just, you know, I know I could do it. I said, well, maybe God is telling you right now, you should just, this is the way to do it. Because normally you wouldn't be able to talk to a casting director or a producer or a director to give you some guidance. You know what I mean? And she's kind of like, oh, okay. But then what threw me was the text I got afterwards. She was like, oh yeah, but just keep me in mind for anything. You're hustling backwards.
You know what I love about that story though is how the answer or the thing that we need could be right in front of us, but we have it pictured a specific way. And if it's not exactly the way that we picture it, then we don't see it.
And we don't see it. I agree with that. That's a great way of putting it.
And so it's being very open to your goals and your dreams. I don't mean that you don't achieve them, but they might shift a little bit.
Absolutely.
And
they will shift.
They might change and they might show up for you just a little bit differently than how you imagine them, but it doesn't mean that you won't be able to get there. It doesn't mean you won't be able to achieve it.
It probably means like, listen, this is the best route to go. You know, a lot of people feel like, even with me when I first started off, and things weren't like, you know, great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I was getting jobs after jobs after jobs. I had to still prove that, listen, I'm serious about this. You know, the crazy thing is, I'll never forget, we we shot a CNN spot. And this is when I started shooting my own short films. And somebody gave Reuben Cannon my information, right? Or the shorts that we did in the CNN spots. And so he was just, and mind you, backtrack. One day we were at Tyler Perry Studios. I said, Mr. Cannon, I would love to get into casting. I would love to sit in one of your sessions. That man looked at me and said, that will never happen. I'm not even gonna look to the camera. I'm gonna look this way. Like, I was floored, but I was like, okay, that's cool. Whatever.
Hold on, no, be for real. Yeah, I think you can like right now be like, all right, yeah, whatever. No, in that moment, how'd that feel?
Fuck you for saying that, man. Like, how dare you say some shit like that? In my head, I'm saying that. Like, really, motherfucker, how you gonna say that to me? Like, really?
Yeah,
Like, well, that's fucked up. Like, really, I'm gonna show your ass. Like, really,
Okay.
I'm sorry about the curse, but that's what I really said in my head.
No, good.
You know what I mean? And if anybody says like they're lying.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were like broken.
No, I wasn't broken, but I was just like, wow, dude, that's
like, yeah, what the hell?
fuck. Like, really, man? Like, okay. So as time went on, like but it set the tone though for me to be like, yo, go get it. Go show him. Go show yourself for that matter.
So thank you, Reuben Cannon.
Absolutely. I love him. Absolutely. And so I get a call one day, right? I'll never forget, we was living in apartments. I get a call and the guy said, yeah, we got your information from somebody at Tyler Perry Studios and we're shooting Teen Wolf and we need an Atlanta casting director. Okay, cool. Joe Janier, who was the UPM, and then Jeff Davis, who was the showrunner, who was the creator and all that good stuff. Great conversation, meeting with them, and then they hired me for season 1 for Teen Wolf. And then I was like, who gave you my information? Reuben Cannon did.
Man.
Reuben Cannon did. And so we worked on season 1. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I am not ashamed to say that.
But you know what? Hold on. I just want to pause here real quick. Because sometimes you just have to take action. You just have to do it.
Fake it till you make
You're
it.
like, I'm going to figure it out along the way. Yes.
And then they brought us back for season 2. I must have been doing something right. I said, okay, look, it's great. Season 2 came along. We did it. We were more confident.
But that confidence never would have came unless you just said, all right, let's do it.
Can you imagine if I said no? Like, I don't think, for me, I'm going to take a shot. Like, if you're going to fire me because you don't think but at least I tried, you know? And so we did it. And then from there, it was just like, other shows came in. And the funny thing is, when we did the CNN spot, Diane Ashford was the one who brought me in. And she says to Rob Hardy, she says, hey, let's just hire George to do the casting. Rob was like, I don't know. I don't think he's seasoned enough to do it. But the funny thing is, I'll never forget, we was on Auburn Avenue. I held sessions from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night.
Whew.
When I tell you, you see my eyes, how they cross right now, people were looking the same. At a certain point, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. But we did it. And we cast 3 CNN spots. And Rob was like, yo, good job, good stuff. And as time went on, they're the first company who I worked where I was the sole casting director where I did No Good Deed. Yeah. And then the crazy thing is, as we're doing No Good Deed, mind you, I'm still a novice. And crazy thing is, Will is just like coaching me as I'm going along. I sent an email. He's like, no, that's not how you send an email. No. Don't say it like that. And so next email came out, I sent it the correct way or whatever. And I was closing people and I was making it happen. And
Wait, what did the email first say?
I made it personal, like I never do that. You know what I mean? And so after a while, he said, always put it on the producers. And so I just started becoming more and more confident and more in knowing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And so I took from whatever I learned from Teen Wolf and then No Good Deed and then every other show that we worked on and started compiling it together, and that's how you grow. And that's how you learn, And it's I want to, that's how it began, and for me, it's just like, I just want people to know, like, at the end of the day, you could achieve whatever it is that you want to, I moved from New York, took my family, we moved here, and here we are now. It still amazes me. Like, I was in the Bahamas. No, it was Mexico, right? We all took a cruise to Mexico. We're having a great time. And I forgot where we were, but there's the little things that eat at your feet. You put your feet in the water and they just clean your feet for you.
Oh, the little
Fish.
thing.
Yeah. This lady comes up to me.
I think that's a scam. I don't think they're cleaning
It
cleaning
feels
your
good.
feet, but
It feels good.
It kind of tickles, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good tickle.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. And this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, you're George Pierre."
In Mexico?
In Mexico, my dude. That felt great.
Yeah, that you had to love that.
Absolutely. I looked at my wife and kids like, yeah, I'm lightweight famous. That's what Teresa.
I could just see Teresa. I can't even imagine what George was like after this.
Oh my God. But for me, it's like, I'm you know me. I'm not that guy who like, oh well, no, I'm just kind of like, all right, hey, how you doing? Or whatever. Because for me, it's here today, gone tomorrow. So appreciate what you have. And not, I see a lot of people where they get blessed and they just let it get to their head. Don't do that, man. It's so not worth it.
Well, we've brought up Teresa a few times, so I gotta segue the conversation to her. You have brought her into Pierre Casting.
Yes.
Can you talk about why you did that, how that's going, and kind of what you see as the future of Pierre Casting then?
Again, it's generational wealth.
Yeah.
So to have your wife working with you is a beautiful thing. Now, is she a bully? Yes. Does she constantly stay on top of me? Yes. Is she nagging me? No. Yes. But what I love is she's on point, and for me, I'm grateful for that, Right now we have Kimberly working with us, who's the associate. And the crazy thing is Teresa's the assistant. She says one day, I'm not the assistant. I'm an associate too. Okay, Teresa, we'll let you believe that. And then but what I love is like her passion. She's like, oh, what about this person? Oh, George, what about that person? But what kills me is that one day I said, hey, Teresa, this is what you got. This is how you have to send out this email, because I know the way the email is supposed to go out because I learned years ago from some people. And she's like, well, no, I don't think it should be that way. No, it should. Like, she flat out was challenging the whole process. I said, Teresa, this is the way it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? I said, please, I don't want to have to write you up or, or doc you pay.
Write her up.
You know what I mean? Or doc you pay or anything like that. But I need you to listen. I am your boss. She looked at me. She was like, well, yeah, whatever. And then she finally came and she's like, oh, okay, I get it. And it's a learning experience. But it's great working with her because we're accomplishing something. Like, it's the Pierres. For me, it's greater than anything. My daughter.
Did you want her to come in, or did she want to come in?
She wanted to at a certain point, and then when everything was happening, yada yada. I said, you know what? Just how about let's try to make this happen.
Yeah.
And she learned. She's great at it, actually. You know what I mean? And so, we're like, to me now, it's like we're the dynamic duo. And we have Kimberly who works with us, and it's just, I think it's a beautiful union. Like, all three of us are going to be on a new project that we're working on, which is great. And so I love the fact that at the end of the day, we can have conversations about it and be like, well, what do you think about this person? Or if I'm watching a tape and I say, what you think about this person? And sometimes I'll test her. The person is probably horrible. And she'll be like, oh my God, I'm like, but okay, let's talk about it. We'll take a look at this, see how this was delivered. So it's a learning process. And for me, I love it because she's absorbing it.
How is the dynamic of husband, wife, and then also working together and then having that balance of sometimes we need to be talking about work, sometimes we need to not talk about work? Like,
it's funny. I'll tell you right now. It's like,
give me some advice.
I'm going to tell you. I made it very clear to Teresa. I said, look, we are working together now, right? I said, we have to separate the two, our personal life from our work. I said, there are going to be times where we're pissed off at each other, but we cannot let it affect the business aspect. There was a time where she was pissed. I mean, and I said to myself, yeah, I know she's pissed, but I need her to do her job. And so, but I wasn't mean about it. I sent a text or an email like, hey, I need this done, whatever. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, she's not going to answer. She's probably going to tell me go to hell. But she did it. She did it. She
'Cause
absolutely
she
did it.
knew. She's like, yeah, we got to get this work
You got to
done.
get it done. You got to get it done. She did it, and for me, I was like, okay, cool, you know. And the funny thing is, I love the fact, like, if we are like pissed off at each other, and we're working on a project, I could just be like, yeah, I'm telling you, like I'm bullying her ass. Hey, I need this done real quick. Like, you know,
I don't know. We got to get Teresa on the podcast. I feel like you are not bullying her. I feel like she's bullying you for sure.
There are times where she takes control of the helm. You know what I mean? And I gotta be like, Teresa, okay, like I value your input. I love what you say, but sometimes you go a little stir crazy. But it's funny though. For me, it's hilarious because I'm like, hey, I really need this done. And now, mind you, let's backtrack. If we're not on a project and she's pissed off at me, and I send a text, oh, that text is not getting answered.
No.
Oh, hell no. That phone is going straight to voice message. Yeah. And I'm like, word, this is what we're doing. So I'm kind of glad if we are pissed off at each other that we're on a project so I don't have to get the backlash.
That's actually, that you could trick her, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you could just like start it with the project. She texts you back, and then that's how you're in.
Right. I'm like, hey, we got this project coming on. Hey, did you, I'm like, oh, the project went away. Yeah, but it's great. You know what? I love the fact that we're building something. You know what I mean? It's for me is greater than anything else. And I pray that, like my daughter, she does her thing. She used to intern for us, and she quickly said, "Yeah, I'm good." But she does her thing.
Like you when you were doing the PA work.
Yeah, she's like, nah, this ain't for me. She even had the experience of being a PA on set over at Tyler Perry, which is great. And she said, yeah, again, nope, this is not for me. My son, he really wants to do real estate. So, hopefully that can get incorporated into the film industry somehow with locations or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants to join the whole casting world. But maybe, when they have kids and their kids, longevity, like maybe their kids will want to do that shit.
All right.
But I don't want it to be where it's us just doing it and peer casting goes away when we stop.
Right.
At some point. Right. I want it to be a legacy where it continues and just keeps going and we become a pinnacle.
I love that.
Because it's not about just now, it's about the future. Yeah.
I mean, you talk about your family, and I have had the pleasure of coming to quite a few of your family parties.
We have fun.
Where you guys really do it up. And I want to kind of talk about that because it's a lot of work. I mean, y'all like cook all the food, and you don't invite like 10 people. You invite like 70 people, and they're all in your house. And it's just a party, and you have such a great time. Can you talk about where that comes from, and like what like ignites that energy to like continuously want to do it?
That came from Teresa Pierre, all day.
Yeah,
that comes from Teresa. You got to understand, on my side, my family never really had family functions. I didn't even know they did family reunions. Apparently they did. We never got invited. Pretty messed up. Yeah, bastards. And we didn't get invited. So, when I met my wife, they would always have family reunions. They would do game night. They loved on each other. You know what I mean? And for me, that was important. And then, when we moved here, we said we want to keep up that tradition. And then when we were fortunate enough to get a house, which was the funniest story on God's green earth, we kept up that tradition. And then, we started, people who were close to who we love and trust, they started coming over to the house and just have a good time. I'll never forget, Josh Ventura was there one day. I had a dance battle with him. I did. I lost.
Who won?
I lost.
Yeah, you lost.
My kids fell in love with him that day. They was he is
Josh
dope.
Ventura. You're coming on the podcast. We got to hear your side of it when you destroyed it.
I don't know
George
about
Pierre in the dance battle.
I don't know about destroyed. He was better. he was way better. Like he was just like, I said, okay, my kid was like, I said, oh.
Yeah, you want to know my dance story with Josh Ventura is I was hosting an event in Vegas, and it was for the Dance Studio Association. So it was just a bunch of dance studio owners. And I like kind of told him this via text, but he didn't like really get it. And I was like, yeah, like come to this event. And it's just me and then like 200 women that own dance studios. And so like I'm just like dancing on the dance floor with everyone, and Josh, and he can dance, but
He could dance.
But he was like thrown off. He was like, I was not ready for this. So I was like, well, have a shot and get ready. Let's go.
Did he do? I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did his thing.
And then we crushed.
Yeah, I'm sure he did his thing. But yeah, for me, it's like, that's where it stems from, man. I love family. I love friends who are family. And for us, it's just like having good people around you, creating great memories or whatever. It's everything. It shows your kids that there are these great people out there. You can have a good time without getting stupid or getting silly. And we've like firework time. We'll do some fireworks when it comes to it. We just love being around people, and I love cooking. I'm that dude who will get on the grill and just start cooking, and it is what it is.
All right, what's the signature Pierre dish?
The macaroni and cheese.
Why is that the signature?
Because everybody wants it. Like everybody, hey, I have people call me like, hey, can you make this for me? I'm having an event. You're not invited though, but can you make it for me? Like you ain't invite me to your event, but you asked me to make macaroni and cheese for you.
Well, you're invited now if you bring the mac and cheese.
Yeah, but at that point, I don't want to go. But yeah, I would say it's the mac and cheese.
All right.
Yeah, we love, we just like having a good time over there. Just for the people that are out there, like you're gonna go through things in your life that's gonna be crazy. You're gonna be like, oh my God, why am I going through this? I'll never forget. We were living in apartments, and I started working on projects, and we had this BOA account. We didn't have to, swipe the card to see if we can get gas. We could actually get gas now and shit. So it was great. So, and I'll say the dollar amount that was in there because I want people to know the validity of it, the significance of it. We amassed $10,000. $10,000. That's 10000. No, 10,00.00. There you go. And so I would look at it every day. I would go in there and be like, ooh, we got 10,000. Let me tell you something. I went in there one day, it said negative 9,99999. Like $9 million negative. Like I'm gonna tell you why. I had a car that we drove up from New York, right? It was a Ford Explorer, the 2-door one, the Sport. And we couldn't afford to keep paying it. Yes, we were trying to hide it and not pay it. We had no insurance on it.
Yo, George back in the day was doing all sorts of shady shit.
Shady's an understatement. It was called living.
If you're enjoying the podcast, I know you'll enjoy this story. Many years ago, I wanted to write a book, and one of my coaches said the title of the book should be something that is a huge pain point for actors. I want you to think about that and figure out what it is. And I immediately knew what it was: rejection. And actors having to deal with that rejection over and over and over again. And so he said, that's the title of your book. And so I want to send you my best-selling book, Turning Rejection into Success, Creating an Actor's Positive Mindset. The book is set up into a 52-week series to give you motivation and inspiration as you're on your actor journey. And I want to send it to you for free. So there's a link in the description. All you got to do is put in your email and I will send it to you immediately. So this can be a fantastic tool as you are on your journey and you find that success as an actor.
We couldn't afford to pay. You understand, it was difficult. We could not pay it. We had to pay rent. You had to pay other utilities, yada, yada. We couldn't afford to pay it. It is what it is. So they found it. They came and scooped it up.
Repoed it.
They repoed the hell out of it. Not only did they repo it, they decided they went into the account and garnished with everything that was in there. And I was just like, wow. So I called Teresa. I said, hey, man, did you, because all that, the money's gone. She said, what?
The 10,000?
Yeah. I said, it's gone. This is around Christmas time, dude. We were supposed to go to New York. We were supposed to do this. And at first I was going to get upset. But I said, no, don't sweat it. It's okay. I said, God is going to multiply that way more than whatever we ever expected or imagined. And so, mind you, they took it. Now they got to send us a letter saying that the car is paid off, right? So what do we say? Let's start paying our other stuff off, right? Let's just try to do that. Started paying off this bill, that bill. Teresa got her credit score up to like the 500s or something like that. Mine was still in the 4 or 2 or whatever the hell. I don't even think you could go that low. And so
It was down to the 2s.
we called the realtor guy, right? His name is Mark LeGrand. I'll never forget it. Him and his wife Janice, phenomenal people. They pulled up our credit. They said, okay, this is what you need to do. So because they took that money out of the account, we were able to buy our first home because everything was being paid off. The credit score started going up a little bit. This was during a time where the market was great. You know, the homes now are like $500,000-$600,000. Back then it was like $170,000 or something like that. So we were able to move into a 5-bedroom, the house we have now.
Yeah.
Full basement, great backyard, in a cul-de-sac. And all because
The big party house.
the party house. And I'm thankful for that. And I was just like, Teresa looked back, as she looked back now, she's like, baby, you were right. And in hindsight, it was like, yeah, you know, can you imagine? You wake up and you have nothing in your account. You're like zero.
But you know what was different about that moment for you is that you did it once, made that money.
Yeah.
You know you could do it again.
You could do it again.
Yeah.
And so I said to myself, like, okay, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then we got the house. And then the greatest thing was that when the kids ran in there, they were like, oh, this is my room. This is my room. And I was just sitting back loving it. I was just absorbing it and just loving it. It was just like, okay, get it. Nothing can stop you. You're going to go through things. It's going to happen. Life is not perfect, unfortunately. But I'd like to think there are great things that you can celebrate that once it happens, just be thankful, man.
Heck yeah. Well, George, this brings us to our spotlight sign off. 5 questions to end this thing strong.
Oh, Lord.
Question number 1.
Number 1
is, oh shit, I forgot. You got me. What's something that you're incredibly grateful for today?
Family.
Question number 2.
Number 2.
What is a book, TV show, movie, or event that completely changed the trajectory of your life? But you can't say Home Depot.
The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I said your name right. I don't know you, but whatever. Great book. Matter of fact, I think Will Smith was promoting it. And then I went and got it. Great book. It's about the journey of little Santiago. It's right there in front of you, literally.
Yeah.
But we go all around the world searching for it. You know, it's right there. It's right there. Like, stop traveling so far. It's right there in front of you. You know, and people kill me with it. It's like, well, I'm gonna go to LA and become famous. Why not work hard where you're at and build there and make it happen? I started here. You know what? They flew me out to LA to go do projects. You know?
Yep.
Respect where you are. They'll respect you back.
I love that.
Number 3. I beat him to the punchline.
You did. Number 3 is, what's something in your daily routine that you really cherish?
Waking up in the morning and working out.
That's what you do? You immediately work out?
I wake up in the morning. I get up like around 6 o'clock in the morning and I work out. I get on that treadmill and I push myself. Like, if I did 2 miles, I want to do more. You know, I want to up it up. I want to up the ante a little bit. I'll do 3. I'll do 4. I'll do 5. You know, I just love the feeling that you get after it, and just it makes the day go by smoother and great. And just like, okay, you have this energy, you know. And for me, it's just it opens the mind and just allows. And while you're working out, you think. You're able to think of things, and you just like you can create things. It's just and yeah, I love that.
Do you get a little bit stuck before you begin? Like, you know you're going to feel good after, but you're like, oh, God, I don't want to do it.
Absolutely.
How do you push through that?
Tell yourself go.
Tell yourself go.
Go. Like, you schlep, you get out that bed, you schlep, or you brush your teeth, you wash your face, and then you just walk downstairs and get on that treadmill. Just go. It's there. It's right there. So it's kind of like, yo, okay, you have $1 million standing right there in front of you. I'm pretty sure 10 times out of 10, that person's gonna run to that $1 million. You have to get there. So for me, it's kind of like I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I want to be. So it's not just about like, because you got to look at it for what we do, right? Sometimes it can be stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing called mental state, where you have to make sure your mental is okay.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, it's mind, body, and spirit. Like I want to make sure my mind is great, my spirit is good, and my body is good. So at the end of the day, I want to be able to see great grandkids or great grandkids. I want to be that dude where they circling around me like, get your little bastard ass over there. You know what I mean? Like, Grandpa, I ain't got time for that. Or whatever. I'd be like, oh. They'd be like, Pop, you look good. No, whatever. But I want to have that where I can enjoy it. So when I'm long gone, I can be like, wow, that was a good dude.
Yes.
Like, I don't want it to be, I don't want to, unfortunately, go. We all got to go, but I don't want it to be because I didn't take care of myself. There's high blood pressure, there's cholesterol, there's so many different things. And it's like, yo, take care, love yourself.
Yeah.
If you love yourself, yeah, I'm sure they'll love you back. You just got to love it. Start loving it.
Question number 4 is, what's something you're currently working on and trying to improve in your life?
Teresa says I'm very sarcastic, and I don't have filter at times, where sometimes I'll just say what first thing that comes to mind, and I'm realizing I get that from my mom because she's visiting right now, and that lady, she's 89 years old, she's off the chain, and so obviously I don't intentionally want to hurt anyone's feelings. That's just not the nature of me, but I'm learning to, or wanting to work on that, where I'm not just just say whatever and just be mindful of other people's feelings. Like we have a very close friend of ours, and how we used to always joke around. I used to say something to her, and then we were at dinner one day, and she's like, "Yeah, can you please stop saying that?" And I said, "Oh, okay, my bad." I mean, she checked me at dinner in front of everybody. I was just like, that was so foul. She asked me not to say, "You don't check me in front of her." But and then I realized, you know what, that wasn't cool of me. And so, and I got Teresa's point where she's saying, oh, you just got to be mindful of other people's feelings sometimes. So that's what I'm working on.
It's upping that awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
In being aware of them, of you, of tone.
Yeah.
Right?
Teresa likes to say, call it being in the room. Like, sometimes I'm oblivious to it. I'm like, oh, she's like, George, be in the room.
Be in the room.
Be in the room. Notice what's going on. Oh, okay. Copy that.
Last question. Based on your life and for the listeners, if there was one piece of advice you want everyone to get, what would it be?
Trust yourself. You know what you want, and you know how you want it. Trust yourself that you'll get it. Believe in yourself. My younger self is probably like, about time you got it. I was around.
About time.
Like,
how many years?
Dude, my younger self is probably like, I've been praying hard for you, man. And so, yeah, listen to yourself. Like for me, like I was in the hospital for like 4 days or whatever because of the abscess in my nose. And if I didn't listen to myself, it would have been bad. So I say, just believe in you and trust yourself, man. Like if you're, like, for example, for you, you love what you do. You will hustle, but not a bad hustle. Hustling is not a bad thing. You will create stuff just to for awareness, for this, for just do it. Just go. Nothing in this world can stop you. Why do you think that some people are as famous or as wealthy as they are? You think it happened overnight? Nothing happens overnight, man. So stop wishing and thinking everything is gonna, unless you win the Powerball after you spend $80,000 trying to get it. That's the only way you're gonna win or get quick money. So stop. I'm gonna go play.
I love it. Trust yourself. It's so true.
Trust yourself, man.
And I think that's such a great point of any time you're beginning to doubt or you're losing that confidence, you're just not trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And who else to trust but yourself, right?
I mean, to add to that, you got to have great people around you. No one person can do it by themselves. You got to have people, obviously, that you can trust. And so I love my circle.
Yep.
I absolutely love my circle. And if you're not in my circle, that's fine. If you were in my circle and you're no longer there, that too is fine. You know, because I think us as adults, we don't have time to focus on the negativity, focus on the what ifs, focus on, oh, is he or she doing better? Or just, oh, hey, Jesse, how are you doing it? So that way we can do it. Or, hey, George, how are you doing it so we can do it? You know, instead of like, well, I'm going to keep it to myself. I mean, there is no way on God's green earth you can have all the money in the world. It's just not feasible. You know, I like seeing people happy. Like when you got that vroom, vroom, I was like, okay, do it. Enjoy life. Enjoy it. Enjoy it to the fullest. You know, when I see on people posting, hey, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, I'm happy for you, but be happy for me too. You know?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep. That I think that's so important. But George, thanks so much, man.
Pleasure, brother.
It was awesome with you today. Everyone, I know that you enjoyed. If you haven't already given a review or dropped a comment, please do. And if you feel like there's someone in your circle that would benefit from this episode, please send it their way. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.